Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of God be upon us all. Welcome to MTA Mathematics lesson, where mathematics is made easier for the learner. Today's lesson, we are going to learn numbers and numerals. Numbers and numerals. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to write numbers up to 1 billion and also count numbers up to 1 billion. Now, with the numbers 0 to 9 is what we are going to use. I want students to take note of this 7, where some teachers even still write this 7. If we look at our computer keyboard or even on our phone keyboard, we wouldn't find this 7 there. This makes it, this gives us the reason why a good student might get 2 in BEC or in WASI. This is the right 7, not this. This is a council 7. Now, we should know the spellings of some digits, like 40. 40. Students sometimes write it this way, but this is not right. The right one, this is incorrect. The correct one is this, 40. You should know the spellings of thousand, the spellings of billion, the spellings of millions. Now, if a number is given, you should know that 2-digit number, 2 digits gives us a number in what? Tens. 3 digits, 100, 4 digits, 1,000. Example of this is 12. So when we start from the right, this is ones and this is tens. That's what I'm saying. So any 2 digits gives us a number in 10 or tens. Then 3 digits gives us in 100. So an example is this. So ones, tens, hundreds. So this is what? 300 and what? 43. And the example of the thousands also gives us this. So we could see that the digits are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So ones, tens, 100, 1,000. So this is 1,000 and what? 1. This is what I'm saying. This goes up to, for this level, that is the 9 digits. That is the billion. And an example is so when we check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this gives us the billion. But this is the, hundreds of a million. 9 is hundreds of a million, and 10 digits is the billion. Okay. So if a student wants to write this number in words, the student needs to put the number in periods. When we talk about periods, we start from the right, we count the first 3 digits, and that is the first period. The next 3 digits is the second period. The next 3 digits is the third period. Then what we do is that we start from the right, and what we do is that this gives us what? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousand, tens of thousand, hundreds of thousand, million, tens of million, hundreds of million. Then we go to what? A billion. So if you want to understand very well, this is what we should do. We should just put them into the ones. So this is the ones. This gives us tens. This gives us 100. Then this one also gives us the 1,000. Tens of thousand, hundreds of thousand, million, tens of million, hundreds of million. Then this is the billion. Okay. So now if, let's say, an example of this is given in exams or work, what we do is that we do it this way. After writing it this way, then the student needs to start from the right. When you want to produce the answer, you should start from the right. But when you want to get the exact answer, you start from the left, then you go there. Now, when we check the last digit here, which is on my left as I'm standing, but to you in the house, it will be on the opposite way. We have this 3, and this 3 says that it is what? Billion. So when you want to write it in words, this one becomes 3. The spellings of the 3 too is important. 3, what? Billion. Then comma. That is the periods I talked about. The comma is already there. Then this is what? 465. Or in which column? It's in the million column. So 465 what? Million. So that is the second period. They'll go to the next period. That one, 231, also in what? The 1,000. So 231, then you add the column, that is the 1,000. So 200. And 31,000. Then the last one is 012 in the hundreds. But the 100 column is in 0, so we don't write anything. Then the tens column we have what? 12. So and 12. I guess we are okay. When we want to get the right answer, we start from the right by labeling them in the ones, tens, up to the last number. But we share it into periods. The first 3 numbers, we take the first period, the next 3, second period, the next 3, the third period. Then you put it in this way. So now let's take an example. Let's take some exercise. An example, let's say A, B, C, and D. Okay. So let's try our hands on them. Let's take the first 2, then I'll give you some 4 minutes to try your hands on the last 2. So when we take solution, when we take A, as I said, we start from the right. We have the 4, which is in ones. We have the 3 tens. We have the 2 hundreds. And we have the 1, which is in what? 1,000. So this tells us that when we are starting from the left, you can see 1. So it becomes 1,000. Because the last number ended in what? 1,000. That is how it should be. So when we are writing this, it becomes what? 1,000. But before that, as I said, the period should also help you. 1, 2, 3. Then you give the comma. That is the period. So 1,000. Then this is 234. So we have the 234. The spellings is always also important. The spellings is always important. So you check your spellings also. Okay, now let's go to B. We have 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. So let's put them into periods. The first 3, 1, 2, 3, comma, and the other one is not in 3. So you leave it like that. So let's start from the right. We have what? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousand, tens of what? Thousands. So this tens makes this one 34. So 34, the 3 is in what? Thousand. So it becomes 34 what? Thousand. Then 600 and what? 89. So 34, 30, then 4. And they are in what? Thousand. So you add your 1,000 to it. Then you bring your comma. Then we have what? 689. 689. Okay. So, viewers in the house, I guess by now C and D should be able to do it. Try your hands on C and D. Now, let's go to the board and see whether we had it right. Okay, so what did I say if a question like this is given? What I said was that we need to put them into periods. After putting them into periods, then you can now start from the right, the first digit, and put them into what? Your place. That is the ones up to the last number. So we said in putting them into periods, we need to count the first 3 and give a comma. So 1, 2, 3, we have comma. That is the first period. 1, 2, 3, we have another comma. That is the second period. I guess all of you had that one right. Now, let's start by doing what I did here, like putting them into their places. So, when we start from the 5, we have ones, tens, the 300s, this is 1,000, tens of 1,000, hundreds of 1,000, then we have what? Million. So this is 1, and the 1 is a digit, which is in the million. So this is 1 million, and all these 3 digits are in thousands. So we mentioned the digit here. That is 296,000. Then we have 345. So 1. Then we have the million, and there is a period. So comma. Then we have what? 200. And 96,345. Okay, so I guess you had it correct. Let's go to the last one, which is the D. So let's put them into periods. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, 2, 3, comma. Another 1, 2, 3, but there is no digit again, so it becomes that way. Now let's start from the right. 6. Ones, tens, 100, 1,000, tens of 1,000, 100 of 1,000. Get to million, tens of million, 100 of million. So this means that these 3 digits we have here on the left are in million, the next in thousand, and the next in what? Hundreds. So this gives us what? 989 million. 989 million. So 900 and 89 million. Then we have 685,000. Comma 126. Students, I guess you were able to get them correctly. So since we are now okay with the D and the rest, let's take an exercise. That's the example 2 or exercise 2. I'm going to give you only 3. Okay, so we have these 3 just for some few minutes. So we have A 89999, B 123001, C 1000 012001 for 3 minutes. Okay. So our students are still on the work. Let's see what we have done so far today. So we said that today's topic was numbers and numerals. But for today's purposes, students should be able to count numbers from 1 to a billion and also write numbers from 1 to what? A billion. So this is the right 7. So right from today, this is from writing this, but write this one. Then we should know some spellings because we are going to write in words. So I said normally 40 is what students get wrong. They write like this. They spell the 4 and add TY. But the right spellings, that is the correct one, is this one. That is the 40. Now, for digits purposes, if a figure is given or a number is given, all 2-digit numbers are in tens. So I said example is what? 12. You could see that when we start from the right, this is ones and this is what? Tens. So all 2-digit numbers are in tens. All 3 digits, they are in hundreds, and all 4 digits are in thousand. And for the purposes of our level, we need to know up to a billion. So when you continue, you could see that the 5 will give us tens of thousands. The 6 will give us hundreds of thousands, the 7 will give us million, and the 8 will give us tens of million, and the 9 digit is already here, that's hundreds of million, and I've given an example like this one. Then the 10, which is for our level now, we need to know up to a billion, that is 10 digits numbers, that is billion. So meaning if you go to 11 digits, it is what? Tens of billions, and when you go to 12 digits, it is hundreds of billions. So I gave an example here like that when an example like this is given in an exams or classwork, what we normally do is that we start from the right and put them into their places. So the first 6 ones, the next tens, up to the number we have here is in a what? A billion. But for the purposes of writing them in words, we start from the left. Are you okay? From the right will help you to get the exact figure, and from the left will help you to write the figure. So we start writing from the left. That is the first number, which is 3, is in billion. And that is what I've written there, 3 billion. Then the 4, hundreds of million, 5, tens of million. But for writing purposes, as we put them into periods, that particular period, when it's billion or when it's a million, all those digits here will fall under the million. So you could see that we didn't write 400 million, then we didn't write 65 tenths of million. No. So we call the figure that is 465, and they are all under what? A million, and that's what we wrote there. Then over here also 231, they are all under what? 1,000. Then you attach it to it. Then the last digit here, that of the 100 is already in 0. We don't write anything. And the last 2 digits is 12, and that's what we've written. I guess by now students should be able to finish this work. So I'm giving you the last 30 seconds, then we go to the board. Okay, all pens down. If you're able to do such a work, then it means that you are prepared for any other work on this topic, whether it's BC or it's classwork, it's homework, whatever, you should be able to do it. So once again, we start from the right, put them into periods first. 1, 2, 3, and this one is in order. So we start from the right once again, and this is ones, tens, hundreds, thousand, tens of thousand. So this one gives us 89,000. Then the comma comes, then 999. Then the B, 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3. So ones, tens, 100,000, tens of thousand, hundreds of thousand. So this means that 123,000, then all here is 3, that is 0, 0, and 1. So 123,000 and 1. Then the last one, C. That one, we put them into periods. The first 3, the next 3, the next 3. So when we count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So already here we know that 10 is in what? Billion. So this means that that one is in a billion. So 1. 1 billion, this is in a million, but all of them are in 0, so we don't write anything. Then here is in 1,000, so that is 12,000. And 1. Okay. Students, I hope today's topic we understood very well, and anytime we meet them again, we'll be able to write them and get correctly. Meet you next time for the continuation of numbers and numerals. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.